INEC didn't ask them to do that. INEC did not ask politicians to buy votes. We should re-examine ourselves as politicians, why we have to do what we are doing. I can tell you, and I have said it before, and I stand by it, let anybody challenge me, INEC has no vote to give any politician or any political party by the systems they have. Unless you don't know about the system, you are not into it. I have come on a second missionary journey, and I am now still studying the entire process. INEC come out hardly, yes, but the issue you were asked, INEC doesn't have that coercive power. Without the cooperation and understanding of the security agencies, INEC would do nothing. INEC cannot arrest anybody.
But what he's saying, what I think I heard Mr. Yemi saying is that INEC is acting the hypocrite here. That they have seen over the years, you know, primaries, election primaries being conducted by political parties and being heavily compromised. I mean, now you see the debates between direct and indirect primaries and parties trying to, you know, pick one over the other because they believe that one, you can easily buy delegates and things of the sort. Now, this is a process that INEC has witnessed over the years, and it was only a matter of time before it crept into the main election. So can they really be saying that, oh, this vote buying menace, we're going to make a scapegoat out of politicians, or we're going to make a scapegoat out of political parties, when they had been observing it all along?
Okay, I'll speak on that direct and indirect primaries later, but let me answer you. You see, since 1999, the process has been evolving. At a time, it was possible to get results in INEC, as we saw in previous elections. Professor Jega came, improved the system a little bit. Now, Professor Mahmoud, I must tell you that with the watchful eyes of the political parties, it is not possible. I'll give you one example, like in Edo. Political parties were shut out of the collation center. INEC was ready. The security agencies made sure nobody was there. That was where the damage was done. I am talking about security agencies. Security agencies, not INEC. I'm not defending INEC. INEC has put the processes and the systems perfectly online. It is the security agencies that will mar the system, the process. If we get the security agents to key in, I heard this morning the IG was talking about, you know, new rules for SARS. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let them keep it. They should also not be involved in election, as they are busy now in rivers, getting to every nook and crannies, harassing people, because they want to grab that seat from Wike by force. The security agency, just a minute, I'm sorry.
It's okay, you're making your point with security agencies, but my point is, he's talked about the role of INEC. I mean, the fact that he says that INEC
I have not seen. Do
you agree with him?
No.
Just a moment.
I have not seen where INEC has compromised the process. INEC will meet with political parties. The rules are kept. Everybody will keep to the rules. We'll be at the polling unit. We'll all be ready for the process. Suddenly, something will come in. There is something that is making it impossible for INEC to execute its mandate.
But Mr. Nwayawu, we know that these challenges are not just at the point of a general election.
Yes.
I mean, let's look, because even Professor Mahmoud alluded to it, let's look at the issues of primaries.
Yes.
If you look at the internal democratic processes of both major ruling parties, let's just look at APC and PDP for a moment. You look at PDP's last convention, and the controversy around the unity lists, and the controversy about monetization of that process, envelopes moving around, etc. INEC was there to observe that process. INEC did nothing to essentially forestall anything that happened there. Now look at APC. In the last Ekiti State primary process that gave rise to the eventual winner of the election, Dr. Kayode Fayemi. We know that that was a heavily monetized process. There was violence. There were so many things that happened within APC's internal democratic process there. INEC did nothing to forestall it, even though they were on ground to observe it and potentially forestall it. So can you say that INEC's hands are clean when, in fact, they are on ground when many of these things are occurring, even within the parties?
Okay. You see, it is settled in law that whatever happens within the party is the internal affairs of that party. When you write INEC to come and observe or witness an election, INEC may or may not come. It doesn't vitiate the decisions of that party in that election. So if Supreme Court has said, look, these are internal affairs of the party, because they believe that the party has internal machinery to address misgivings, quarrels, and perceived, lack of transparency in their process. Every party has that machinery. So if INEC observes such a process, they make their comments, they make their positions clear, and advise the various parties to now take the necessary steps to rectify. Look at the primaries you refer to. They pay for such amount of money to get tickets. Then what will happen in a general election when you are contesting with other political parties that will take you now to that position proper? So that is the issue. And what are the steps that INEC have put in place to stop this process of vote buying? Maybe we'll have to address that.
Well, this takes me to the next issue, which is even deeper. When you look at corruption within the larger political system, and you look at, for example, the war that's going on right now within the governing All Progressives Congress about the idea of indirect versus direct. We know that the Congresses were obviously held in May, and obviously there are many people that emerged as heads of wards, local governments, states, etc., and talking about delegates who paid quite a bit of money to even get into those positions. Now you're saying if we do an indirect primary, the opportunity now for candidates to essentially buy off the delegates is what incentivizes them to pay to get into those positions. So if you talk about a direct primary and removing that financial incentive, now there's a backlash. What do you say about the issue of direct and indirect primaries and how it feeds into the larger corruption issue in our political sphere?
Thank you very much for asking me this question. 3 political parties are now adopting both direct and indirect primaries. It is an illegality. It is an illegality. If you look at section 87(2), it talks about a political party choosing between direct and indirect primaries. Section 87(3) talks about where you elect to choose the direct primaries, you must ensure that all the members of the party are allowed to vote. Subsection 4 talks about if you elect to choose the indirect, these are the things you should do. For state assembly, it must be in the constituency. So if you look at the 2 conditions for the 2 types of primaries, their conditions are not the same. If you go to Interpretation Act, section 18(3), the word or and the word other means should be treated disjunctively. It should not be taken to mean the same, similarity. So this, our party is issuing a statement today, drawing the attention of INEC and the 3 political parties to go back and do the proper thing. You cannot pick and choose. The law says or direct or indirect primaries. You cannot do primaries direct here and indirect there. The word party, political party, refers to the party's headquarters. It is not for Taraba, Imo, or Adamawa to elect and choose the system to adopt in the selection of candidates for election. What they're doing is a nullity. What is not expressed in an act is excluded. You cannot read into an act what it was not intended. The spirit behind the provisions of section 87(2)(3)(4) is that a political party should either take a direct or indirect system of primaries.
And we know that...
No, something wrong is going now because there are 3 political parties doing the same thing.
Let me just come in here, because if you're saying that this is now essentially a fresh claim, this is going to, everything in Nigeria is obviously tested, particularly when it comes to political issues.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
So a judicial interpretation will obviously result from this, I would imagine. But in the absence of that, we know that the National Executive Committee of the All Progressives Congress, their position was essentially that everybody does direct, and then if state chapters choose to do indirect because of one ground or another, then that's what would go. Now, if let's just say your interpretation holds water, would that now mean that essentially everybody within the APC would have to abide by what the NEC decided, which is direct primaries, in view of potential litigation later on, according to what you're going to do?
You know why I have to say this now? They have up to October 7 to do the right thing. On October 8th, Zenith Labour Party will take a process for court to nullify those processes.